Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you being here. I am Mike Odyssey. We're talking about Nintendo news again. We have a couple of stories here, updates over the weekend. I'll go over them really quick because I know you probably heard it before, but I'll give you my 2 cents on what happened over the weekend with this certain news stuff. And then I'll give you brand new information just released, right? A lot of it discovered by me. I like to do investigative journalism. You guys know that already. And I also basically want to give you a breaking news that just appeared, which is good for Nintendo fans everywhere and kind of guarantees a certain game making it to Nintendo Switch 2. Let's go ahead and get started. Before, take a look at this if you are brand new to the channel, and if not, use the timestamp below to go straight to the main topic. So before we get into today's stories, you see, I want to ask you one thing. I want to ask for your subscription. You see, I'm legally blind and I'm basically losing my sight as we go. I don't have sight on my left eye and I have about 40% sight of my right eye, and it's just fading away, right? The doctors right now have nothing else they can do, but I have a dream to become a full-timer on YouTube by the end of this year. And I want to ask you for your help. If you subscribe to this channel right now, it'll only take a second. For me, it'll just change my life. So if you could do that right now, I would really appreciate it. Here, we have Monday through Friday Nintendo news. On the weekends, we have products and reviews. And we also have the occasional Nintopic podcast with your favorite voice actor. So I would really appreciate it. It would mean the world to me. And I just want to thank you in advance for giving me your subscription. Let's move on to today's stories. All right, so here we have, let's go ahead and talk about the first piece of news, right? It has to do with a Legend of Zelda leaked game, right? Apparently leaked game, and it looks like Nintendo is working on this Legend of Zelda game for Nintendo Switch 2. All right, so we are here at Game Rant. This is not the main source, but they covered the news, so I'm going to go ahead and read it from them. The rumor Nintendo may be revisiting Zelda Breath of the Wild for Switch 2. Now, why do they think this? And it's because, let's see here, it says, Nintendo may be planning on revisiting The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild for the Nintendo Switch 2, as suggested by some newly shared information from a reliable industry insider. All right, so who is this Nintendo insider, right? This insider here, it says, prominent Sega leaker Midori has recently reignited the rumors of an enhanced version of Breath of the Wild, with the claim that Nintendo is currently working on a project codenamed Yu-King-Oh. Now, for those of you who didn't know, back in the day, Breath of the Wild, while in development, codename was Yu-King. All right, I'll tell you what I believe it means, right? The first part of the moniker matches, of course, the internal designation for Breath of the Wild, right? The instructional packet. Later, the data mining efforts have also confirmed that the game's Wii U executable files, Yu-King, whatever, that's basically that the what they called the game internally, right? And the letter O may be referencing the Switch 2 for some reason. I don't know why they think that. But yeah, that is basically the Zelda news. It's not literally referencing a new Zelda that seemed kind of impressive on Nintendo Switch that could be better looking and run better on better hardware. And so I believe that gradually in phases they will be releasing patches for certain games from Nintendo to Nintendo Switch 2. And so this is what that's all it is. It's not a brand new game. It's not that Nintendo's building up a brand new Breath of the Wild game or re-releasing it to sell to you again on Nintendo Switch 2. It's just a patch, and that's all it is. Let's move on to the next exciting topic here today. All right, so we are here in another very interesting topic that happened over the weekend, and it has to do with the codename for Nintendo Switch 2. Yay! Let's go ahead and move over to Twitter here, and this is what happened. We have here, I'm going to go ahead and read from Neko Felipe here. And of course, he kind of mentions the Nintendo Switch NX, which was a codename for Nintendo Switch. And then he goes on to say Nintendo Switch 2, they found that the codename was MUJI. Do not Google it because you will not like what you find. And of course, but the real definition in Japanese, not in other countries because not great, it actually has to do with something else, right? And so a lot of people ran with this. oh, this is the code name for Switch. I didn't really think I wanted to make a video on it because it wasn't big news. Didn't really tell you a lot about the Switch. It's just a code name. Didn't really matter, right? And so right here, right below, Necrofelipe actually goes again and kind of gives you a little more information, right? The code in Japanese, it's translated to no brand, nothing, or empty space, right? Those are like the actual kind of definitions of it, right? The translation, what it means. And so it tells you that that is not a code name. It's just an empty space. It's a no brand. It's a way of them hiding the actual name of the Switch 2 or the code name of the Nintendo Switch 2. So there is really nothing about this that tells you it's a code name. And I feel like if they were to release a code name, they will really release a code name that's more like generally accepted. It doesn't mean other things in other countries, you know? And so here we have it. Yeah, that's basically my 2 cents on this. With that said, discovery made here on the channel. Did you know Nintendo is not only working on porting Nintendo Wii U games to Nintendo Switch, right? We know that we are in this transition year, a port year, where we get a lot of ported remakes to Nintendo Switch because we are almost at the cusp of Nintendo Switch 2. And so the Wii U is not the only victim being gutted or ported. The 3DS is also another victim of being gutted. I don't know why I use that. Why am I using that phrase? Anyway, the 3DS is also another console where there are games in the console that are being ported to Nintendo Switch 2, and its first game is Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, which is coming out in a couple of weeks, next month, right? But what if I told you there's another game, a trademark that Nintendo just updated, right? The filing date was on October 6, 2023, and the registration date, April 23rd, 2024. Now, this is the second one on the trademark website. The other one is still active, and I believe that the other one has to do with 3DS. This one is a new one, and so what I believe is that this is another game that could be ported to Nintendo Switch. Mario Party Island Tour, maybe with some HD features, added games, new functionality, and a whole bunch of other things, right? So here we have it. This is just proof Nintendo is actually working behind the scenes with updating new games for Nintendo Switch, and this could be a game we might see in this Nintendo Direct. And there's another rumored game, Animal Crossing New Leaf, that could also make it to Nintendo Switch in an HD manner, right? I mean, Animal Crossing is an amazing franchise. It's the number 2 selling game on Switch, and I believe that with New Leaf and this one, we can have a pretty good time until Switch 2 arrives, right? All right, so let's move on to the main topic of today regarding a potential huge move that could benefit Nintendo, Xbox, and other consoles, but mainly Nintendo because that's what we talk about here, right? Nintendo, let's move on here, and we are at Polygon.com. Square Enix is going aggressively multi-platform after string of PS5 exclusive. It sounds like Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth really didn't work out. All right, so it says here, what does it say? It says, Square Enix has revealed a new business plan titled Square Enix Reboots, okay? And Awakens. Reboots and Awakens. So, that will see the publisher aggressively pursue a multi-platform strategy for its biggest games across Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation, and Windows PC. While Square Enix has long been active across a wide range of platforms, it has a tradition of signing exclusivity deals for its biggest releases, typically with Sony, right? Like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and last year's Final Fantasy 16 are currently exclusive to PS5, while games like Forspoken and the original Final Fantasy VII Remake have been released across PlayStation and PC. Now, it's also planned to be released on Nintendo Switch too. So that's one of the demos they actually had at Gamescom last year for Final Fantasy VII Remake. So I expect that to be on Switch very soon. So The wording of Square Enix's new plan released as part of the company's latest financial report suggests that this strategy will soon be a thing of the past. One of the biggest news is that we can see from Nintendo, for Nintendo fans everywhere, because we all know that Final Fantasy franchise started on Nintendo, right? NES, Super NES. We have all those Final Fantasy there, and finally having Final Fantasy again on Nintendo platforms, meaning newer titles in the Final Fantasy franchise. It will be so amazing, not excluding other amazing Square Enix titles, right? Chrono Trigger remake or something like that, right? It'll be super awesome. And so there you have it, guys. This is I don't think it's bad for Sony. I just think it's good for everyone else, because Square Enix is such an amazing company that does such amazing games, and the Final Fantasy franchise is so big and so awesome that I think that it should be on other platforms as well. So let me know what you guys think. What Square Enix game would you be looking to play now that Square Enix is looking to bring it to other platforms? And I'm guessing Nintendo Switch 2. Guys, that is going to do it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the little piece of updates and news that we got in this video. Let me know down below and hit that thumbs button, that thumbs up button thingy if you have not done so yet. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Before I let you go, never give up and journey on. Peace.